too. Not too bad. So the backpack campground is up that way. There's two routes. You can go around the switchback or you can cut through this nice little trail. I'd recommend a trail. One of the hallmarks of the hiking site though is you don't have to go up this hill. You can go around it. And currently there is only one hike-in site at Afton. Technically the backpack sites are a hike-in. Actually a little bit more of a hike-in if you ask me. Again, this is a nice little jewel site I just found recently. These are the restrooms for the trail and also for the hike-in site. And there's a nice little picnic table up here. It looks off onto St. Croix. Nice little rest spot for hiking. Looks like it did the day I scouted it. Side note, the restrooms are not up that way, they're straight ahead. We just passed them. Coming from here though, it's kind of confusing. It got me before. This is them times where you see stairs and you're actually happy to see them. Because unlike the backpack sites, there's no stairs on those and it can be a little arduous, especially right at the switchback point. Right here. I'm rocking like a 60-some pound Ruck right now. I'm a little guy. Here's a trail right here. St. Croix River. Slightly less important, Wisconsin on the other side. Like I said twice already, this site is a jewel at Afton. But this jewel has a jewel within it, and it's a surplus of firewood right here. Which still blows my mind to this day. I just can't believe how awesome this site is. I just can't. So, this is my 100th trip. 3 years to the day. April Fools. Happy anniversary. Yeah, this has got to be the coolest site in the whole park. It's just got to be. Alright, set up tent over there. Supposed to snow and rain and snow all night. Hopefully it does. This is a Chief Patrol rucksack, composite, hybrid, interchangeable, ergonomic frame sheet. Made by Granite Gear for the military. It's impressively durable, up to 90 liters. And you can shrink it down real small if you need to as well. I got a few upgrades to it. This is a Light Fighter 2 tent inside an M-TAC compression stuff sack. I got a backpack ghillie around it in case I gotta stash it or something. I do have the cold weather kit for the tent pre-installed. That's why I'm using this bigger stuff sack to store it in. The ruggedized tough sack from Light Fighter will not fit the tent when it has the cold weather kit installed, which is pretty lame. But hindsight is 20/20. I've used this tent on over 50 camp trips in the last 2.5 years. And it is still a superstar. All conditions, snow, rain, sleet. Had some really heavy sleet at Tetagooch. I'm sure someone will know where I'm coming from with that one. Now for these poles, I use shot cord. It's about a 1/8 inch, I believe, 1/16. Yeah, 1/16 shot cord. Keep them hunkered down, tidied up. These don't come with the kit, with the tent, but they work really well for keeping them hunkered down. Keep this loop here in the tent to keep it staying outside of the cold weather portion. I use some more shock cord here to kind of tie it to the top notch here of the zipper. Otherwise it keeps falling through and it's really obnoxious. So this has been a game changer, this technique right here, for keeping this up here. And another one on this side. Keep this flap sticking through this hole right here. Otherwise it falls right in. These clamps are on the normal tent. This outer portion here is the cold weather aspect. So it turns a 3-season tent into a 4-season tent, essentially. I don't know how it would hold up in Arctic tundra, though. I wouldn't want to risk that. But I've had heavy winds that bent the whole tent downward, and it just keeps coming back for more. Rainfly. I put this first one underneath the tent loop because if you don't, when you go to put the other side on, this part will fall off and it gets obnoxious. This works really well, putting this in behind there. Then on this side, just put it right there. Saves you time taking it down. No big deal. It'll stay. And since I don't have to stake the tent down first for it to have shape, I still have the opportunity to move it, reposition it. Though I have multiple stakes and I can stake it down with multiple stakes, I always only use 2 stakes for simplicity. But if I was in an extreme condition, extreme environment, I'd probably want to stake down all 4 ends, which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to stake down this side and the other side, like I always do. I'll reposition the tent so I can see the fire while I'm in the tent, in case that matters. Give it a quick test run before I lock it in. I got a thick mylar sheet in here. It's kind of like a ground cloth for inside the tent. Help protect it from within. And this is the bag where I put my shoes and my boots really. Oh, this looks good, feels good. It's a nice tent pad for no roots, no rocks, nothing like that. This is where I'll lay, and I'll have this open. You see the fire right there. In case that matters. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but it's nice to be prepared just in case you want it to. Now I'm going to stake it down. I usually use a piece of wood though to stake it down, so we're going to go grab some firewood now from the precious jewel trove down below. These are extra supplies and repair kit for the tent. I prefer the longer, bigger quality tent stakes. I think they call these T-stakes or something like that, but I've used these same ones for over 50 trips. Just got it bent a little bit when I was at Site-16 at Split Rock Lighthouse State Park. That is some rough ground to try to put a stake in. Woo! That's one of the worst ones. But it's still champ. It's been on multiple trips since. It's that time of year where I still want to do the 3 bundles, so we're gonna go for it. Just bring one up at a time. Now this area would be probably pretty crowded during a better time of the year. Well, better for most people anyways. Warmer out. It's a popular trail. A lot of foot traffic. Try that app later. Don't work. I'll pay him tomorrow in the building at the warden station, where the warden is. So it looks like this site is a project of the Minnesota Conservation Corps. Thank you very much. You guys totally rock, man. This is one of the best sites I've ever seen in Minnesota state parks. That was a nice stump too. You do batoning. Wow, that's awesome. All right, let's pick a piece. Not bad. So it's not perfectly taut all around. There's an opening down here which I'm not too fond of. I'd prefer if the rainfly went all the way down, but that would inhibit ventilation. It droops a little here. The rain can get in here if this is open. But other than that though, man, this thing has got me through some wild nights. And I did seam seal it though, with Gear Aid seam grip with waterproof. There's a rumor that if you don't do that, it will leak. So there's that. And this is my winter setup. In the summertime, late spring, early fall, I don't use the cold weather kit, so I don't use this stuff sack. I use the tough sack from Light Fighter, L-I-T-E Fighter brand. So now we're gonna set up a sleep system inside of the tent. More M-Tac straps. They work pretty well. This foam pad I've had since over 100 100 exactly camp trips. It's a squish because I had the 60-pound Ruck sitting on it overnight, but this thing is still awesome. I cannot believe it. These body cams do not have good wind-proof abilities, and I haven't upgraded it, so there'll probably be distortions and wind. Oh, sorry. Okay. And I keep my tent nice and clean and dry after every trip, so it always smells awesome in here whenever I first get in it. Always. You get in your tent and it just smells, it smells like home. Man, that really does a lot. Because some of these trips, when you get here, you can, sometimes you feel lonely or whatever. And there might have been a lot of rude drivers or people on the way here. I do have a MSS military sleep system made in America, but I got this one as a redundancy because I like the outer camo that matched the OCP of the tent. But then when I got it from eBay, it said made in China, and I kind of felt like a jerk. But I have been testing it, and it's working like a champ. They pretty much imitated the MSS. And FYI, I've wrapped more of this beloved shock cord 1/16 shock cord around all the ends here, because if you don't do that, these flaps come right out, and it is really annoying. And ever since I did this, it hasn't happened once, and it is a game changer. This shock cord, there are many uses for it. Just pull and it stops, and it looks cool too. I replaced the cord in here, it was really fat. I replaced it with some paracord, it's a little thinner. I just prefer that. And I used a seam grip with waterproof seam seal on the Gore-Tex Bivy on here as well, because it will probably leak when you don't want it to. Can't trust it. It takes so much time to do that. It would probably cost companies so much money they wouldn't make any profit. And to do it the right way with care and love. Yeah, so this is a cool OCP that matches the outer tent. Wool scarf, cover my eyes. Make sure no one's out here staring at me. Looking good there. I'm just gonna seal this up for now. I usually use a rolled up wool blanket for a pillow, but on a hiking like this I wouldn't carry it because I already got too much weight as it is in my gear. So I'm hoping we get really heavy snow. Not enough to ruin the trees, of course, but this thing can take it. Even if the snow was heavy enough to ruin the trees, it wouldn't ruin the rain. It wouldn't ruin the tent. A tree branch would have to break and fall onto it to do that. been one of my dreams to check the trail cam footage after a trip and see like a creepy meth head or somebody creeping, leering around my tent that I didn't know about. Sounds kind of sick, I know, but it's kind of on my bucket list. You gotta watch for thorns, they will tear the shell layer. Shell layers are not durable from a thorn standpoint. A lot of things aren't. Okay, so if any meth heads come leering, it should be able to capture them. The city of Afton is kind of bourgeois, but I heard Hastings has some problems. But I'm from South Minneapolis though, so ain't no big deal. Alright, prep dinner. Trangia. It's a red camp stove. Trangia body. I keep it in this towel so it doesn't clang against itself. I hate things that clang or flap around when I'm hiking. Pretty OCD about that. Kind of ruins everything. Like rocks in the shoe. This is easier than it looks when you first do it. It can be a little awkward. And as a bonus, as a backup, I have these Kuvik parts from a Kuvik stove, alcohol stove. So if I need to, I can boil directly on this, which I haven't had to need to yet, but I've always been concerned in case I needed to do that. Because you can't fit this on here. So I got a Kuvik alcohol stove. And I took this part out of it and added it with my little setup here. So Trangia wall, red camp alcohol stove with the Kuvik top part for holding a container. And I wrap it all up in this towel, microfiber towel, rain leaf. And put it in the Trangia bag that Trangia came with. Trangia costs a lot. It doesn't even come with the little stove. It says alcohol stove, but it doesn't come with this. It just comes with this, which is fine, but I don't know. It's a little deceptive. And this does cost a lot, but if you use it enough, you get your money's worth. It's pretty windy out here, but this Trangeo wall will be really helpful. This fluid is heat, H-E-E-T. I'm gonna try to start using grain alcohol to see how that goes for a while, because this is obviously more poisonous, creates carbon monoxide, and that matters when you're in a tent, of course, where you shouldn't use this. But the grain alcohol, I guess it's not as poisonous, so it costs more though. It's a red camp kettle. I've been using this since day one, about 100 camp trips. I got a backup butane stove in here just in case. And I got butane, a can of butane in the Ruck. 2 of them actually. Alright, so we'll put some water in here. I'm gonna boil some water so I can make some freeze-dried food. And I brought some pretzel buns. I'm trying to do this without a lighter. I'm gonna use a ferrocerium rod and a silky pocket buoy. The top edge here is pretty sharp, so I've gotten better with this, but I've hacked it a lot, so I'm trying to get good with it. There we go. Not bad. That should take about 7 minutes to start boiling. You know, when I fired that up, my hand hit the edge here. I did cut myself a little, but I've been meaning to file these edges off a little bit, and I'm still getting better with the rod. So, but it's okay. I haven't had a mild injury in a long time. I got more tinder. One thing they never talk about for tinder is snot rags, toilet paper, stuff like that. I used to use fire starters all the time when I started doing it, but when I got more used to it, yeah, so I'm camping, I just keep all my trash in a little bag. So I started doing that in my car too, and I figured this bag was just the same as camping. So throughout the week I just kind of collect, it's a little nasty, I know, but we all got trash. I collect the snot rags, and then that's my tinder. So, ooh. And I always got toilet paper with me for blowing my nose. So you can just lay that out too. You never hear people talk about that. And another thing you never hear people talk about is it's a nice butterfly. hear people talk about the EDC of having Neosporin with you. This thing works as a lip balm. It helps with cuts. You can use it as like a lotion to keep your hands from being too dry, or you can use it for cuts. It's priceless. I use it every day. I always have it on me. I never hear people talk about that for camping and stuff like that. This cut doesn't want to stop bleeding. It's being a fake tough guy, so I haven't used this in a long time. This little emergency kit. It's kind of cool. You got to test your gear out, allegedly. So sometimes it's kind of hard to test stuff and you don't really need it. You really need it sometimes in order to test it. In some ways. I've been taking a lot of medicine the last few days for a headache that hasn't been going away, so maybe my blood is thinner. Okay. Okay. Prep pads, antiseptic towelette, gauze, we got backup alcohol, sanitizer, a lighter, ambisol, a mirror, peroxide, nitro gloves, nail clippers, tweezers. I take this little pack with me everywhere I go for the most part, about 80% of the time. Now we're gonna prep the fire while that's boiling. I forgot my white sage in the vehicle, so we won't have that. Ugh. Yeah, you can do one. I'm hoping for a long, wet, snowy, wintry night. Anything in here that isn't flammable, I do remove it. But these are all, like I said, snot rags, which I know it's kind of gross, but better than in a landfill. This will be my garbage bag for the camp trip. So the rules of a fire, to build a fire, you gotta have tinder, then kindling, then fuel. So tinder is the stuff that takes a spark, that'll start on fire. That's our tissues. Then you have the kindling. That's the thin wood strips. It's gonna be this birch bark. Rip it up, create more surface area for it to spread. These, we can open these up a little to help catch that spark. So I want the tinder just underneath the kindling, and you want the kindling too thick lot of surface area, a lot of grains. Use the grill to help break it up a little. More surface area. Since I cut myself already, I don't have to get a sliver now, so don't have to worry about that anymore. And as you go higher, you can allow a little bit thicker kindling, which slowly becomes fuel the thicker it gets. So something like this is fuel. It takes a lot of fire to get that going. This is more kindling. A lot of grain. It's grainy, it's thinner. Surface material, surface area. We need more birch bark though. Papery stuff catches good. Just kind of lay it down. That's some pretty good birch. So again, this is kindling and tinder that are going to catch fire. I'm going to try to throw a spark at the tissue, get that going, and that'll catch onto the birch, and then that'll spread onto the smaller wood, and that'll spread onto the bigger wood. And then when it gets hot, I can add the big ones. Okay. It's almost at a boil, so that's looking good over there. We'll just throw a spark at it here when it gets a little darker. Now here's our buns, and here's our freeze-dried food. Creamy mac and cheese again. That's my favorite one. Okay. Now this time I brought a container to make sure that my pretzel buns don't turn flat. And I got a new idea where I'm gonna put one of those warm hands or hot hands. Yeah, hot hands. I'm gonna put one of those in there. Depending on how cold it is outside, they're warm hands. And I'm gonna see if these will warm these up in here. Just might need oxygen though to keep moving. There. So it's not something not flammable. I wouldn't put that in the fire. Nor would I put this in the fire. don't matter. I got a few more of these anyways. I treat this as tinder too. It kind of goes with better tinder basically. It's just, it helps it go. Ooh. Wow, we actually ran out of fuel before it was done. So there was a lot of fuel in there, so it's because of the wind and the temperature. Get this bad boy going again. See if we improved our skill set so we don't cut ourselves this time. But if we do, I can just leverage my gear again and get familiar with the first aid. Instead of moving your right arm, pull this away. Boom. Yeah, this Pocket Boy is pretty dope, but I'd recommend, it costs a little more, but get the Outback version. The Outback one is super dope. Like, there's an Outback one, but it's a bigger one. So I'm watching the Pocket Outback version of this, the same size as that little one, but it looks like this. It's got a curved blade. Wait for that to go on sale. Ooh. Okay, there we go. All right, put those in there. Yeah, you gotta boil. These meals are really, really bad for you, but they're very delicious and very convenient. And then the extra water that I'm not going to use, all this hot water, I'm going to pour it back into my container with the other water. Be careful to touch it. Mix it around. Nice and warm now. I'm going to put it in the rucksack and keep it nice and toasty on the inside of the rucksack, where I got my buns and my other food and my clothing, which I gotta take out. I gotta start layering up actually right now. I'm gonna build my pillow too, because I couldn't bring my wool blanket roll. We're gonna get this nice and dry. Before the heat goes out. And when it cools down, we're gonna store it. We're gonna stir this again in about 7 minutes. I got an opportunity to build more tinder. There we go. Now I'm going to layer up. So it's probably going to drop into 20s tonight. I'm not playing around with my layers. I'm using merino wool. All in all, with all the layers, 300, no 400 plus 320 plus like 250. So almost 1,000 grams for the legs. Not counting the thin outer layer pants, which is cotton polyester, and not counting the shell. This is my EDC merino. At least in the winter. Okay. nice not to have like mud or any wet snow on the ground right now. Makes it a little more challenging. Seems like the wind goes up, or like there's an airplane or a noisy car every time I'm trying to balance on one leg. Pretty funny. Any temperature I ever talk about is going to be in Fahrenheit. I never talk about Celsius. I think people who talk in Celsius, they're trying to be, it's almost like they're deceptive, you know, like -20. It's like, oh, but it's Celsius though, so. Alright, so my legs are golden now. All the way down to about, in the teens actually, Fahrenheit. It would start to get a little chilly though, in the teens, lower teens. And it sucks, no matter what time of year. 12 months of the year. Double layer, merino wool, DG Hill, always. For sweat absorption, shock absorption, blister prevention, comfort. Yes, even when it's in the 90s Fahrenheit. I can't believe it myself, but it works like a charm. Tried and proven. I move to the upper body. Merino wool tank, merino wool base hoodie. And 2 merino wool thermal layers. 400 grams each, so 800. So we're looking at about 1,000. That's a tree just fell. I don't see any widowmakers above me. We're supposed to have heavy snow tonight too, so if stuff's falling now. Yeah, we'll see. So about 1,000 grams on the tops. Upper body, the balaclava, got 2 of them. It's probably about 300, 400 gram total merino wool. I couldn't like buy it all at once, of course. It took month after month after month, one piece here, one piece there, work hard. Another piece here, oh, Black Friday, something's on sale. Several years later, these pants are like a tent for my legs. Block out the wind, block out the rain, the snow. Keeps the insulating layers doing their job. And I got 2 merino wool hoodies. When it falls in the lower teens and single digits, I do 3 of them. But even then, in the single digits with all this stuff, it gets pretty crazy. It gets pretty cold. I haven't done anything negative yet in Fahrenheit. I only do tent camping, by the way, too. Sort of a rule. The shell back on. Keep losing it. I'm gonna put that in first. The more layers you wear, the more cumbersome life gets. But the more comfortable it gets. Comfortable and cumbersome go hand in hand sometimes. And while we were doing that, we'll go finish stirring up the food. We can start putting this stuff away. The stove is out, it has calmed down. If you like mac and cheese, you probably love this stuff. It's almost scary how good it is. Like, there's got to be horrible stuff in it for it to taste so good. If you don't rinse it out when you're done, the next day, like, it'll smell really bad too. So I'm pretty sure there's stuff in there telling your tongue it tastes really good. Alright, we'll put away the stove. I'm gonna have to file these edges. I could probably do it tonight. I got my tool with me. So. Talking more on this one because this is a special trip. It's a big achievement for me, and I don't know, I'm just kind of excited. So, yeah. Three years ago today would be the first time I would camp out here. And I was terrified by the herd of coyotes that were really close to me. I've never heard crazy coyotes since then, except for at Beaver Creek Valley State Park. But that was camp trip number 50. And by then I was more used to them, and they're actually my second favorite creature to encounter. I always look forward to hopefully encountering them at night, hearing them. Number one, of course, is the barred owl. Oh. You see me using these shock cord bracelets constantly for many things. I even have them in here. I I don't like the string with the little ball that you pull down, and it's always in the way. You always got to tuck it in. It's always getting in the way, so I do the same thing for this one too. Got the shock cord in there, got the shock cord in here. Use the shock cord to hunker down my clothes, hunker down the shamags. Use the thicker shock cord, 1/8 inch. Use it here. Use the shock cord 1/16 to hunker down the straps so they don't clang against each other, which they never stop doing. I'm thinking about replacing these with shock cord too, because these, I was on a hike at Mille Lacs Cathedral and these kept doing this. It's terrifyingly annoying. The stove's hunkered away. Fuel hunkered away. This is essentially a silverware drawer right here. And I put the kettle away. And this is the butane stove I have as a backup. I usually use this in the morning too when I heat up water for the coffee. I'm not going to do that tomorrow morning though. I got the coffee in the car in a double layered thermos, a double wall thermos, because it's supposed to be a crazy morning. Some microfiber towel, and I put it in here to hunker in so that the stove don't move around, and I put it over the top and latch this on like this so that there's no clanging. There's no clanging. I hate clanging. Clanging sucks. The bag for it, I got that shock cord in here like I showed you. No strap, get in the way of everything. It takes a little bit of skill to get this used to this part, putting this in here. But once you get used to it, there's no going back. It's a game changer, period. Look, no annoying strap to get in the way, nothing to tuck in that keeps falling out that you got to keep retucking in. Same with this. Here I use the shock cord as a zipper holder so it doesn't, otherwise zippers, they clang and they make a little jingly sound. Nobody's trying to hear all that, man. You're trying to hear a jingle sound everywhere you go. And bear bells, they're just a hustle. Forget it. You're just gonna annoy people. More tinder opportunity. Just keep building that tinder. Now we need another few minutes for that to cook fully. It's like 14 total. You stir it halfway through. We'll see how warm this is. I got greedy and put a lot in there. Not very warm. It might need oxygen, that's probably why. Let's leave those out for a sec. So my plan to build a pillow, I use the dry bag that I put my layers in. This is backup base clothing, socks, pants, a belt. Basically in case I fall into water or something, I got a total whole setup ready to go, underwear, everything. I'm gonna put that in here, and then these two shamags I got in case I need them for something. Usually sweat absorption in the summertime when I'm hiking, but I got them in winter just in case. I'm gonna put those in here. That rolled up wool blanket is really a luxury item as a pillow. I use it at home as a pillow actually. It's the only pillow I use. But again, coming out here, it's just too big and too heavy. Once the ruck's over 60 pounds, almost 70, things start to get a little silly. Oh. And I got some backup gloves and some mittens. These are wool mittens. They cost a lot, like $60. I think some Swedish family or something made them. Can't remember for sure. So one on bottom and one on top. I think there's a big difference. It's the first time the buns didn't turn into flat little discs. Ooh. I'll go back in the house here real quick. Zippers are always out to be the tough guy. They're always there to YKK, doesn't matter what kind of zipper it is. There we go. So this MSS, you got the outer layer bivvy, you got the green sleeping bag, which is the single summer one essentially, spring, fall, and then you got the inner winter one. This one's still pretty new, so there's a lot of loft in it still. And here's our pillow. For the night. And this is our pillowcase that I use to put over my eyes as well. There's a wool, military wool scarf. That was just 20 bucks. I'm really proud of that purchase. Man. I forgot to take these bags from the tent and out of my pocket and put them where they belong. Put these down here. I put the rucksack right over there. This is a Light Fighter 2, so it's a two-person tent. And as we all know, two-person means luxurious one person. And one person means one person, no rucksack. And I'm not going to leave my gear out, especially in the summer. I'm not going to leave it out outside of the tent. For security reasons and insect reasons. So backup wool tank top. Alright, looks like it might start snowing here. That's what I'm talking about. These are my power cords that go into my power banks inside of here, which I have sealed up in a plastic bag. I have 3 power banks. So I can plug various things in. The body cam, phone, iPod, actually old school iPod, USB mini, a USB-C, and then a USB micro. Those are the 3 ports, the 3 types of cables I have. So that could get me through probably several days, depending on how I spaced it and how I used the gear. Alright, so we got snow coming in. I'm going to go ahead and just start the campfire early. Let's see how it goes. So the kindling took the spark. The kindling was the tinder, I mean. The tinder took the spark, that was the tissue. It took the spark, it created the fire, and it spread to the kindling, which is building the fire. The kindling was the birch bark and the smaller chunks of wood. It's developing now. And then that will spread to the fuel, which is the bigger chunks of wood. And once that happens, we can add more fuel. So, tinder, kindling, fuel. In that order. And you can nurture it a little if you want. Don't overkill it. Wind's picking up. That'll help breathe life into it. This is looking pretty healthy right now. Just let it grow. Try to fire stick a candle yet. I'm not gonna try today. But it's nice to use the old Bic once in a while. It's almost harder to use a Bic now. There you go. Nurture it a little. I don't really need it, but I kind of like the smell. It probably won't stay lit, it's too windy. We'll see. Yeah, it's probably gonna be too windy. That was extra weight. I probably could. I didn't have to do that. Oh, I forgot to put this in the ruck. It's still warm though. Oops. I got a candy bar in here for dessert. I'm gonna take that away from the warm stuff. I got some pound cake in an MRE, just in case. Alright, we'll put this stuff away. Here's the stove. And silverware, kettle, alcohol stove fuel, hunkered down. And then the buns here. I'm just gonna leave that lid off a little. I'm pretty sure it needs oxygen for it to work. Hot hands are kind of fickle. else? Right, I got some medicine too. We'll check on the fire real quick. All right, looky good, looky real good. Okay. Let's see what else we got here in store here. Put some lighter pieces on her. Got a lot of surface area. Help this build over on the other side a little. This wind will help it grow. Ah, that's better. Ah. You know, the day will come. The days will come when I have to camp without a fire, but the fire really makes it. It really does. Maybe a little candle would be just enough. We'll find out one day. You know, that's right, I forgot. It's been so long since I've had to use a band-aid. I swear I'm not lying. And that wasn't facetious. But I forget that the band-aids, they always just come apart. So I use the Gorilla tape. To ensure. No, that wasn't long enough. I'm going to show you another trick with that Gorilla tape. Instead of wasting it, so this will not come off. This will stay on until I remove it. Boom. That's how you make a band-aid stay on. Don't do it too tight, of course, so your finger can breathe. But another lesser known trick with the Gorilla tape, and this will not work in cold weather, but you can use it as a form of a fire starter. We've already started our fire here, but it catches fire really good. This fire's a little wild. But you can take a roll of it, roll it, just kind of stretch it out and then kind of dangle it all throughout. Kind of like you would toilet paper, just try to stretch out, just you can dangle it all around and it'll help catch fire. So you can put toilet paper in there, spread it out, and then take a string of we'll just unwind it and lay it in. I'll just show you. So here'd be your fire. That's your tinder. And then you got a little bit of a bonus tinder, a bonus round. You can layer this stuff in. And this will not work in cold. This tape fails. The further freezing and below freezing it gets, the more it seems to fail. And we're about freezing right now, so it's not the ideal. Then you just spark that or light that with a lighter. This will catch, and then this will catch. Similar to a fire starter. It's pretty effective. So just keep that in your back pocket, that technique. if you have this gear on you. Nice and gooey. Kind of helps reinforce the toilet paper as it melts and burns. And they kind of work together a little bit. So the wind died down after this went out. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna have dinner now, so I'm gonna shut this off. I don't like to eat in front of people because that's piggish. I'll see you later. hunkered down. It's gonna snow all night and all morning. It's gonna rain too. All right. One of the best ones. I stayed at the hiking site last night.
Oh.
And I just want to pay for the wood that I used.
Oh, that's very nice of you. You get the Good Karma of the Day award. So it's just windy and nasty out there. How was your camping experience? Were you miserable?
This is actually my 100th camp trip, 3 years to the day. So I was very prepared.
Wow.
The first one was here too. Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Where else do you go?
I've been traveling to every state park. So I've camped at every one except for in the Northwest and the Northeast. So I got about 7 left to camp at.
So you all year you do the winter thing, or is this more of a seasonal thing?
All year. Yeah. Never stops. I average like every other weekend throughout the year, roughly.
Wow, good for you. Dang. All right, how many bundles did you use?
I got 3.
And then, do you have any idea how much is left in the box?
Yeah, it's pretty plush. Yeah, there's a lot left in there.
Okay.
I know they got more people coming in tonight, so there's more than enough. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe 10, 15 bundles.
Oh, good. Then I won't send anybody.
It was
down
full
there.
basically when I got there.
All right, so 3 bundles would be $24.
Okay.
On a card? All right, let me
Do that.
try the insert then. If you could hit yes for the amount. Thank you. Did you hear any owls or critters or anything cool?
Not this, well, no. No, but I saw a deer. But I didn't hear any, I saw eagle too, but I didn't hear any coyotes. I was kind of hoping for that, but yeah.
Oh, we've got a lot of them in the park.
Yeah.
Maybe they were hunkered down because the weather was kind of...
Well, I saw geese too, but I see those at home, you know, so.
Yeah. Did you want your receipt?
I'll take it.
All right.
Thanks a
Well,
lot.
come again sometime.
I will. Take care.
And happy trails.
You too.